You're listening to the Madness4life News Podcasting Network with your host, Matt Maldonado. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Matt Maldonado, here in FEMA Region 9 in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Madness4life News, the podcast version of the show. This is June 7th, 2012, the Saturday edition, and what you just heard was Close to Modern's Bargain with the World. You can actually do free downloads at ReverbNation.com, as well as follow them on their website as closetomodernmusic.com and many others. I will post the links below. So let's get into the news today. George Soros promotes UN control over gun ownership. There will never be enough jobs in America again. WikiLeaks Syrian Files obtained by Flame to set up Assad, as well as I'm going to talk about what happened to me during the week of June during my birthday. So let me get into that first. I was going down to Las Vegas Boulevard. I was hanging out with my friend the other day. It was July 2nd. I'm 25 now. But I'm going down there. We're talking about the how the bankers have taken over the government, and everybody's acting all weird, and it is just a total degenerate. If you want to see the total degeneration of this country, you can just go to Las Vegas Boulevard, and it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And there's more homeless people on the streets, and there's more people losing their jobs. And if you want to see it actually even worse, go to the north side of town. It's really bad. And what happened was the fact that there was times where like people were looking at me weird, or there was women like running away, and there was this one woman actually getting mad over this one guy for no reason. He didn't say anything. She wanted to mace him because he said that she's fat, even though he never said that. But hey, that's okay. Yelling at him, saying that you don't say that. You don't tell a woman that's a working woman that she's fat. It's like, okay, but if the shoe fits, you don't look like a working woman, but that's all right. I really don't get why this culture has to be so degenerate. But hey, I gotta grow up and go get a job, even though the jobs are gonna be gone soon, and you're gonna be in FEMA camps anyway. So hey, so what the heck? I gotta go down there and actually see my culture just get weirder and weirder. Just like Fremont Street. I went to Fremont Street like 2 days ago. No, it was 3 days ago. That was on Wednesday. And it was really weird. Like, men were dressing up, having dresses on. Men were acting all weird. And the women looked like a bunch of whores all day. And it just looked strange. And I always thought to myself, and I'm still thinking to myself now, it's just like, really, that's what women want, is a bunch of adult children? Really? And not standing up for liberty and freedom, standing up for women and children? No? Okay. Why? Because they have a job, and they're paying the bills, and they're all just masculine and saying that, hey, I know about football, and I know about this and that. But hey, do you know anything about liberty and freedom? You know anything about the founding fathers? No, screw them. Look at that, they're scum. What? Alright. But hey, everybody's a bunch of spoiled brats because of what the founding fathers actually built for this nation. But that's okay, because the degenerates will be taking this country down, and everybody else with it. And there's going to be riots, there's going to be wars going on, and that's going to happen. It's going to look like Liberia or Sierra Leone. Plain and simple. All right, let's get into this one right here. Soros promotes UN control over gun ownership. This is at Infowars.com. Pick this up. This is at the New American. George Soros is financing the fight to give the UN United Nations control of your guns through his Media Matters organization. Soros is dropping pro-UN gun control propaganda into the mainstream media to conclude with the United Nations Conference on the Arms Trade Treaty being held in New York, July 2nd. My birthday already passed, to the 27th. In a blog published on July 3rd, Timmy Johnson of Media Matters described the notion that the United Nations would ever try to take away the right of Americans to take and bear arms laughable, even though they actually admit that they were going to take your guns. Excuse me. Even though they admit and even brag about the fact that we're going to take your guns, and just say, hey, we're going to take them, and you can't do anything about it. It doesn't matter. Just sit down and shut up. It doesn't matter. Your jobs are going to be taken overseas. The UN's going to be taken over. You're in FEMA regions now. Just shut up. Just sit there and shut up. Everything's going to be Hunger Games all over the place. Agenda 21 is going to be put in place. Just shut up. But hey, that's laughable. Even though they admit it countless times. And anyway, moving on. Johnson goes on to promote the package of the UN's Armed Trade Treaty, ATT, as a means of curtailing the illicit arms trade, and thus cracking down on those who use these weapons to deny others their human rights. The blog posted assures citizens concerned about the potential reaction of the rights guaranteed in the Second Amendment to the Constitution, that they have nothing to fear from the UN's gun control treaty. Top officials from the United Nations, the United States, and other high-profile supporters have repeatedly and clearly said that the treaty does not aim to restrict anyone's freedom to own a gun. Indeed, the UN General Assembly's resolution on the treaty makes clear that countries will executively maintain the rights within their boundaries to I know that word. It was regenerate in intel transfer of arms and national ownership, including through national constitutional protection on private ownerships, even though it admitted that they were going to take it. Okay. But hey, we're not going to do that. We're not going to, be bashing other people's freedoms. It's okay. It's all right. Just shut up. It doesn't matter. Just like when they said that about Obamacare, and then the senator comes out, oh, I know you guys don't like it, but you guys can't really do any opposition, so it doesn't matter. So just sit there. It's all right. Hey, nothing to see here. No. Yeah, it's a tax. It doesn't matter. You're going to pay it, and if you're not, you're going to go to jail. Plain and simple. Continuing here, constitutionists will instantly notice a couple of red flags raised by Media Matters word choice. First, their need to be no question, no quotient. It's quotation marks around the various freedom to own a gun. What Americans should enjoy the unqualified right to bear arms, and it is not some anti-quoted idea or some unicorn-like mythical creature that requires special. That's very true. Prosecutional treatment. Probably said that word wrong. I'm sorry. Americans are well aware that an unarmed citizenry is easier to subdue and will rightly resist all efforts to abridge that right. Second, the citizens of the United States do not need the permission of the United Nations to maintain the exclusive right. I'm sorry, not executive. I said that word wrong before. Exclusive right to own a gun. This right, as with all others protected by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, comes from God, not man, and may be neither given nor taken away by any government. Of course, that is very true. But hey, that's okay, because the courage response teams from every church will say, it is of the Lord to give up your guns. It is of the Lord to submit. It is of the Lord to love the United Nations. What? When does it say that in the Bible? It doesn't matter. It is of the Lord. Okay, even though it countlessly says in the Bible that you have to stand up against evil all the time. But hey, who believes in God and who believes in that? Oh, how dare you? It doesn't exist. All right, it doesn't exist. You can believe whatever you want. Undainted, however, Soros will continue to use his mouthpieces to promote the globalist agenda, including the incremental dismantling of the U.S. Constitution and the sovereignty it protects. The current draft of the ATT mandates that the governments of member states petition the United Nations for approval of any contract to sell weapons to any nation where there exists a substantial risk of a serious violation of human rights. While the end of reducing the abuse of human rights is laughable, the means to achieve that cannot lawfully include the requirement that the Congress of the United States ask for permission from the UN overlords before it passes a law, including one authorizing the sale of arms to another country. That is a direct assault on American legislative sovereignty and an indirect attack on the sovereignty of the American people who elected the member of Congress who vote on such measures. In the text of the ATT, you can click the link. It goes to the www.un.org. The UN's continuing here. The UN specifically calls for the passage of a legally binding instrument that will impose international standards for the ownership, trade, and transfer of weapons. In other sections, the ATT includes controls on a comprehensive list of weaponry, including small arms and light weapons. Predictably, all these controls are couched comfortably in talk of human rights and ending senseless killings by rogue regimes. In order to involve being labeled a human rights abuser, the United States, along with all member states, is ordered by the UN to compile with the ATT to compile with this I know this word. I'm trying to stay quiet because there's someone else over in the other room. The compliance. There we go. This compliance, the ATT empowers the UN to force Congress to enact internationally agreed licensing agreements for Americans, even though it's illegal to do this, to have the UN be involved with the United States, because the UN has nothing to do with the United States. That's why we have to have nations literally back out of the UN and NATO, because this is why George Washington warned of international going into international alliances. You can't do that, because then you go into false wars, you go into false agreements where they would pass laws that has nothing to do with your country. It has nothing to do with the laws of your country or the laws of other countries. So you can go in free trade, but you shouldn't be in those kind of alliances to where to go into war or go into these type of agreements to change the nation's laws. But hey, that's okay. Let's move on here. What was I just There we go. Destroy unauthorized firearms of Americans while allowing the U.S. government to keep theirs. Ban the trade, sale, and private ownership of semi-automatic guns. create and mandate an international registry to organize an go down here. Pressing a gun confiscation in America. On this point, in 2011, the United Nations General Assembly declared that disarmament, arms control, and pro-lifer reformation in essential. In other words, if world peace, the protection of human rights, and the disarming of violent regimes could be achieved through the confiscation of personal arms, then so be it. If you confiscate the guns, there's going to be more riots. There's going to be more crime. That you're not going to protect crime by taking away everybody's guns. Even though when you actually see the statistics, actually people that have guns and have weapons, there's not really going to be crime at all. Because the criminals love to prey on people that don't have weapons, don't have any self-awareness to actually protect themselves. They'll attack those people. So, and that's okay. I'm going to try to finish up here. I'm already going way above this right now. Above the time limit. Make no mistake, however, Soros and his fellow globalist gun controllers don't have in mind, at least at first, to march blue helmet UN soldiers into the homes of Americans with orders to seize their guns and ammunition, even though that's going to happen soon. Even though they had like international other troops from different countries like Poland and I think British soldiers on here to do like police state tactics, but that's okay. We have to get used to it. Rather, through the passage of bending international treaties and UN resolutions, they will force the international governments of the world to do the dirty work for them. Sadly, officials of our own federal government, including President Obama, are pushing Congress to sign off on this treaty. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has announced that the Obama administration is working with the UN to lean on Congress to consent to the ATT. It's funny how yes, Obama is a puppet and he's a liar, and the fact that he is a sellout. I laugh when people think that Mitt Romney's going to save them. He's not going to save you. He's going to do the same thing. It's just the same. He's the same thing, but a white guy with hair that's combed to the side. He's a car dealer. He's a car seller. He's a used car dealership seller. That's what he is. He's like Bill Clinton, where he can sell you anything, and then everybody will believe it. Okay, I guess I'll vote for you. Yeah, but we love tyranny, and it's good, and Hitler's good, and Stalin's good, and Mao is good. What does this have to do with this? Well, that's what they did. They basically stole the guns, stole the weapons, and Mitt Romney's going to do the same thing. I'd rather people actually go to Gary Johnson. I don't like Gary Johnson that much, even though he is good on many levels, but then again, he's also for war in Uganda. But maybe that's a side issue. Let's go to the next one. Clinton has pushed, the next paragraph. This is continuing here on this article. I'm almost done. Clinton has pushed the treaty as an opportunity to promote the same high standards for the entire international community that the United States and other responsible arms exporters already have in place to ensure that reparations is transferred for legitimate purposes. There is little doubt that the scope of those legitimate purposes will be determined by Soros, Clinton, Obama, and the rest of the globalist gang, who have much to fear from an armed and educated citizenry. For now, the resistance to revocation. Sorry, I just thought I heard something. What is that noise? Oh. Of such of a treaty is strong in the United States. Last July, Senator Jerry Morgan, Republican from Kansas, and 44 other senators sent a letter to President Obama and Secretary Clinton encouraging them to stop pushing for package of UN gun control treaties. In the letter, Morin wrote, "Our country's sovereignty and the Second Amendment rights of American citizens must not be infringed upon by the United Nations. Today, the Senate sends a powerful message to the Obama administration. An arms trade treaty that does not protect ownership of firearms will fail in the Senate. While firearm freedom are not neglectable, George Soros, through his Media Matters outlet, promises that U.S. gun owners have nothing to fear from the ATT and from similar UN agreements to restrict the manufacture, transfer, and possession of firearms. The globalists are only goal they maintain is the maintenance of international peace and security for those whose fear are assured by such gentle words. We offered this competing comment from Benjamin Franklin, wrote in a letter penned in 1755, "Those who would give up potential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserves neither liberty nor safety." Indeed. Words of wisdom. And of course they're going to say, it's not going to take your guns. No, just don't look away. That's not going to happen. Even though in countless times they actually said it was going to happen. But hey, that's okay. Let's move on to the next article here, because I've been droning on and on about this. This may be a boring show, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep bringing out the word from Infowars.com. So here we go. There will be never enough jobs in America again. Of course, this is from the Economic Collapse blog by Michael Snyder. Infowars.com picked this up. Well, we just had another bad jobs report. The U.S. economy created just 80,000 new jobs, even though those jobs were actually government jobs. But I just went away from the article here. During the month of June, normally about 125,000 new jobs need to be created every month just to keep up with population growth. So it is a bit odd that the official unemployment rate did not raise above 8.2%. What is even more alarming is that the Social Security Administration is telling us that 85,000 U.S. workers left the workforce and enrolled in the Social Security Disability Insurance Program during the month of June. That means that the number of Americans enrolling in Social Security Disability actually exceeded the number of new jobs that was created. That is definitely not a sign of recovery. Unfortunately, this is about as good as things are going to get. Right now, corporate profits are at an all-time high, and usually after a recession has ended, the percentage of working age Americans that have jobs balances back very strongly, but that has not happened this time. And when the next economic crisis hits, things are going to get a lot worse, of course. And you're going to see a lot of people in jail and a lot of people in FEMA camps, and it's going to be a fun time. Isn't it great to wreck everything? Continuing, the headline to this article states that there will be enough jobs in America. Never enough jobs in America. How could that be possibly true? How can that be possibly true? Well, the sad truth is that it is very hard to make a profit on an employee in the United States today. Every year, the control freaks that run things just keep dumping more taxes, more laws, more regulations, and more demands on employers. Hiring even a low-level employees today is very compent? Why can't I say that? Complicated and very expensive. These days, a lot of small business owners have decided that it is simply not worth the hassle to hire more employees. If you can't make a profit on them, what is the point? Yeah, because you know what? The next time, those small businesses will be gone. It's like, we can't hire more employees. Well, guess what? You have to fire all of your employees. Why is that? Because we want your business overseas, because you get a better profit. Hey, because of NAFTA and GATT. Isn't it fun? If there was going to be a major rebound in hiring, we would have to seen it by now. Corporate profits are at an all-time high, as I mentioned earlier. This is from Snyder, not me. How much more money do they need to make before they start hiring? But I don't blame them. Our politicians have loaded the system with petty incentives not to hire workers. Yesterday, I write about how Barack Obama has been a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to killing jobs. And actually, you can click that link going to endoftheamericandream.com, and it goes right to all the opinions from blocking the Keystone Pipeline to the Obamacare. I actually talked about that on the news yesterday. Continuing, but he is not the only one to blame. The truth is that politicians from both political parties have been making things more difficult for employers for decades. Actually, it's because of the banks that run everything, and not only that, international companies that run everything, with as well as like GE and others. His partners that actually he works for, like BP and others. But that's okay. Today, many employers are trying to replace as many employees as possible with computers, automation, robotic, and other forms of technology. Those are jobs that are not ever going to come back. However, sometimes human labor is still actually needed. But instead of hiring American workers, many big corporations are taking advantage of the emerging one world economy and are setting up shop in countries where it is legal to pay slave labor wages. So how are American workers supposed to compete with that? The truth is that they can't. Today, they aren't just competing for jobs with your neighbors. Your competition also includes millions upon millions of hardworking people on the other side of the globe that will gladly work 20-hour shifts in nightmarish conditions for $1 an hour. And that's going to be the next work anyway. It's, the prisons. Why not? The United States has been losing millions of jobs to lower wage countries, and the furious competition for the jobs that remain is driving down wages in this country. As a result, many of our greatest cities that were once the envy of the entire world have become cesspools of filth. Was it decay and wreckness. That's not the right word. Wickedness. That's right. Just like Vegas, there's also Oakland in California. There's also Detroit. Detroit was like one of the thriving cities of the world, probably like one of the richest cities in the United States. But now it's like a bombed out area. It's like World War II, literally, in Detroit. But hey, that's okay. Because we don't need to bring back General Motors or anything like that. We have Halliburton, and Halliburton will just make sure all your jobs are going to be gone, and, we're going to hire private contractors to finish the work. We're just going to hire other people that actually do slave labor. But hey, we're trying to get slave labor back in here, so then you can never pay your bills. But that's okay. I mean, come on. Continuing here. We are going to continue to bleed jobs because both major political parties are fully convinced that merging our labor pool with the labor pool of the rest of the world is a great idea. Yeah, NAFTA and GATT was a really good idea. Yeah, you can see that when you actually walk out in Las Vegas. Yeah, that's really good. Republicans have been brainwashed into believing that a one-world economic system is actually conservative. Isn't that cool? They have been told that it is conservative to merge our economy with countries ruled by third-world dictators and brutal communist regimes that have no respect for human rights at all. Democrats have been brainwashed into believing that merging our economy into a one-world economic system is good for American workers and will bring more prosperity to this country, even though it's actually making it poorer and people are getting arrested for just selling water or giving out water. I mean, there was another recent article today I just read about an old man giving out water on the strip. I think I saw that guy, too, on July 4th. That guy was awesome. Near the Wynn, I think I passed him by. He asked for just donations, and he was just passing out the water to people for free. But hey, he's a scum American. He can't do that, and he's going to get arrested. So, how dare you? I think I just lost my place. Where am I? Barack Obama is even neglecting a treaty right now that would reportedly ban all Buy American laws. Ban all Buy American laws. Like buy all American stuff, like all American flags, all American cars, trucks, all American supplies, but instead we're going to buy stuff that's crap from like China and Japan and other nations. But that's okay. We're just going to continue to believe that stuff from China, they give us good stuff. Yeah, good stuff that just breaks in your hand. That's really good. How stupid can we be? If we merge our labor pool with the labor pool of the rest of the world with no protection, guess where our wages and our standard of living is going to go? The answer is obvious. The giant sucking sound that Ross Perot warned us about so many years ago has become a reality, of course. But hey, he's just a stupid billionaire that doesn't know what he's talking about, and you shouldn't listen to him, and he's a terrorist, and you can't listen to Ross Perot even though he knows what to do. You have to pay people in order to have an economy. He even said that. And then you have Al Gore up there. This is a good deal, Larry. I'm Al Gore. I just said that I created the internet even though it was proven that I was wrong. This is a very good deal, Larry. You got Ross Perot up there. It's a giant sucking sound. Tax and sevens move offshore. This is incredible. This is gonna destroy America, and everybody just looking at him like, Ross Perot, just shut up, Ross Perot. You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, continuing here. But hey, we're always gonna repeat history all the time. Because it's going to happen just like in Rome, just like in Greece, just like in France, just like in Britain twice, basically, just like in Persia, just like in the Mongols with the barbarians. It's going to happen with Egypt as well. Yeah, it just continues. It's always the same thing, and getting no results, as Albert Einstein said. Let's continuing here. I'm going to finish up. It is just basic economics. If I go to the store and I see two similar products and one is priced at $10 and the other is priced at $100, I am going to go for the one priced at $10. Well, it is the same thing with employees. U.S. workers can't compare with low-wage workers on the other side of the world. It is simply no contest. Meanwhile, our control freak politicians continue to shuffle more jobs out of the door by piling on even more taxes. It's piling on even more taxes, rules, and regulations. Unfortunately, these trends are not going to change. It doesn't matter who gets elected, the bleeding of jobs is going to continue. In fact, we should probably be celebrating that things are still as good as they are. In the future, they will be a whole lot worse. The period we are in right now was supposed to be the recovery. During the last recession, the percentage of working age Americans with jobs fell dramatically. Since the end of the recession, that number has stayed remarkably flat. Look at that, 2010. That was when Obama literally went into office. It was kind of like a slow fall, and once he hit office, it went all the way down. Wow, and then you see 2012, they're like right at 58%. It was at about 60, what is that, 61? Well, so near 63, and then it went all the way down to 59. No, it's 58, more 58%. It just stayed there. Wow, and it's going to continue to stay there, and it's going to go even lower, maybe like 45, maybe less than that. Now, the next measure, downturn, is rapidly approaching. When it hits, the unemployment rate is going to go well up into the double digits. At the moment, our falling economy is being propped up by unprecedented amounts of debt. When our debt fueled false prosperity ends, the true honor of the decay of our economic system will be revealed. If you think it is hard to find a job now, you just wait, because it's going to take you about forever just to get one. What is coming is going to be a total nightmare, as I have written before. This is Mike Snyder talking, not me. Many years of pain are ahead. But that doesn't mean that you have to lose hope. On my website, people often to share how their lives have been obviously disvented by the I can't say the word, I'm sorry, by this economy. Some of them are even so down that they are considering giving up completely. But that is the exact wrong response to all of this. The reason why I tried so hard to explain what is coming is so that it will not be a surprise to people. Yeah, but if you tell people, they just go, I just don't want to hear it, and it's bad for your digestion, and it's really bad. Don't talk about it. Well, it's coming, so it doesn't matter. You can go in your corner all you want and just say it's not there. It's not. Why don't you guys just face it and actually fight against it? I'm not going to do it because it's not of the Lord, even though the Lord tells you to actually stand up against evil. But that's okay. Hey, that's fine. Because I got to grow up, and I got to go get a job, and even though the job that you get is you can't even pay your bills, and the taxes will continue to go up, and I would like to see actually everybody else grow up, but that's okay. Hey, continuing here. if I will go back. If you make plans and preparation now, the times that are coming will not be overwhelm you. I believe that there will be people that will be greatly blessed even in the midst of what is coming. However, millions of Americans that are not listening to the warnings now will have their lives totally destroyed by what is coming. The world is changing. Nothing is going to stop that. The unprecedented prosperity that we have been rolling in is going to shuffle up and go away. But that does not mean that your life is over. In fact, if you get yourself physically and mentally prepared for what is ahead, the times that are coming can be the greatest times of your life. One of my goals is to give people hope. There is hope in understanding what is coming. There is... I have to... I'll just finish this sentence. I'm gonna stop on this. There is hope in preparing. There is hope in being a light in the middle of the darkness. There is hope in being willing to get to love people in the midst of a world that is going crazy, and it continues on from there. You can actually go to Infowars.com to continue the article. Wow, that is a very powerful article. I'm going to go to the next one, and that is true too. You can actually prepare as much as you can for the times ahead, but even if you could prepare as much as you can, it still can actually... what happens if actually the enemy has your supplies? What's going to happen? Well, now the enemy has it. You're stuck. But yet again, you have to just be mentally fit for what's going to happen. So just be prepared. Anyway, even though I have hope in humanity to actually do the right thing. All right, let's go to the last article here. I don't know if I'm going to get into all of this, but I'm going to try to. I have enough time. WikiLeaks Syrian files obtained by Flame to set up Assad. This is from Infowars.com. This is Susan Polsel. WikiLeaks has released damning emails embracing Syria and exposing Syria's appoints upon says Julian S. There were more than 2.4 million emails that show conspicuous between Syria political figures, ministries, and associated companies between August of 2006 and March 2012. The Associated Press reports WikiLeaks' Sarah Harrison told the journalist at London's Frontline Club that the emails revealed interactions between the Syrian government and Western companies. Although she declined to go into much further detail, WikiLeaks posted only a handful of the documents to its website Thursday, but the disclosure, whose source WikiLeaks has not made clear, wouldn't be the first major leak of Syrian emails. Harrison said that the material is embracing to Syria, but claims that Syria's opinions, Syria, I think it's opinions, will equally be ashamed. It It helps us not merely to criticize one group or another, but to understand their interest, actions and thoughts. It is only through understanding this conflict that we can help to resolve it. Called the Syrian Files, numerous diplomatic correspondence. There we go. Correspondence are more of an exposure, more an exposure to insider information than WikiLeaks disclosure, considering the U.S. government's role and responsibility in Iraq and Afghanistan. The hacked emails include correspondence from the Ba'ath Party, contains information on foreign affairs, finance, and Assad's presidential business, records of financial transfers from Syria ministries to nations. Over 68,000 are in Russian. Russia is in arms trade the Syria, even though the UN, with pressure from the U.S., has exposed sanctions against Assad's government because of the fake revolution called the Arab Spring that was inspired and controlled by Soros Soros and the CIA. WikiLeaks and associates have not interfered. All the emails and I can't even talk now because of the sheer volume. However, that they are statistically convinced that the files they have obtained are genuine. Questions concern assumptions, connections to the CIA and his ability to expose leaked information as a psyop, the manifestation of I can't even speak now. And WikiLeaks has effectively used engineered operations of secret documents, explorers, exposure to give the appearance of forced political responsibility for intelligence and policy failures. This is detailed in the CIA documents entitled "The Secret Team." Gotta wrap it up here. The CIA connections to assertion creates an annual avenue where fake leaks of documents can be made to give the illusion of the public that they are privy to secret information. Meanwhile, the CIA people power co-op can been integral. Sorry, can't even talk now. In many fake revolutions, both in the streets of foreign nations and on the internet, WikiLeaks assist the U.S. government's overthrow of the Tanzanian government. Portrayal as a lone wolf just trying to expose corruption has aided the U.S. government as the perfect PSYOP cover that convinces individuals to rally in favor of their hero and keep his crusade alive. So you can go to Infowars.com to continue that article, because it just continues with Webster Tarpley, interviews with that, with the video, and the WikiLeaks press conference. So that is the show for today. You can follow me at Facebook.com, as well as you can click subscribe to this channel, as well as follow me at Prison Planet, PlanetInfowars.com, as well as Vimeo, and many others. I will put the links below. And remember, united we stand, divided we fall, and God bless America. Goodbye, everybody.